With a news update on WHTC Holland's Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. What looked to be a pleasant Saturday afternoon in the waters of Lake Michigan between Holland and Grand Haven turned tragic for a couple of men in their 20s. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit, along with members of the Port Sheldon Township Fire Department and the U.S. Coast Guard, were dispatched around 1:15 p.m. to the South Pier of the Pigeon Lake Channel. There they found the two men, a 26-year-old from the Grand Rapids suburb of Ada and a 24-year-old from Warrenville, Illinois, that's west of Chicago, floundering in the water. Initial efforts by bystanders to rescue them were unsuccessful, and while the first responders were able to effectively take the men out of the water, life-saving efforts at the scene proved to be ineffective and they were declared dead. While the identity of the Illinois man wasn't immediately disclosed, family members have reportedly confirmed that the local man who perished was Jalen Schaefer, and they said that he had died while attempting to save the other man, who was a football teammate at Wheaton College. No other details as to the circumstances which led to the swimmer's peril were revealed, as the incident remains under investigation. The future of the Calkins Dam in Allegan has again been cast in doubt. Last week, State Administrative Law Judge James Varchetti recommended that the Michigan Public Service Commission reject a proposed sale of 13 hydropower dams by Consumers Energy to Washington-based Hull Street Energy's Confluence Hydro for $1 each. The deal would commit the Jackson-based utility to buy back power at a starting rate of $160 per megawatt hour. That's almost double the current rate, with a 2.5% annual price increase over the length of the 30-year-long agreement. Groups opposed to the sale say the accountability would be compromised, but Allegan County Board Chairman Scott Beltman and his colleagues last month unanimously approved a resolution supporting the sale.
Valley Township is a pretty rural township, and the vast majority of their tax base comes from the homes in and around Lake Allegan. The rest of Valley Township is primarily state game area, which they get a little bit of payment in lieu of taxes, but a significant portion of their tax base is from around Lake Allegan. And to lose that and to lose those beautiful homes is not a good idea.
The ruling will be considered by the PSC when they vote on whether to approve the sale of the dams later this year. The Zeeland City Council has a decision to make tonight. During its biweekly business meeting, the governing panel will be asked to approve a 5-year-long contract with Exxon to replace dash and body cameras for police patrol officers. The department's current Motorola system had a warranty period that had expired this past fall, but Chief Tim Jungle, after waiting for surrounding police agencies' terms to expire before going ahead with future plan, opted for the Exxon option at a cost of nearly $283,000, over keeping the current system at a $73,000 savings. That's due to various factors, including taser use, live mapping and streaming, and front office time savings. Ottawa County Sheriff Eric DeBoer, whose office had begun using Exxon equipment 2 years ago, explains why investing a little more now will pay off in the long run.
You might see a price tag for, say, $200,000 and think, well, that's a crazy amount of money, and I agree. But a deputy costs me about $170. So if it does the work of 2 deputies, it's now a cost savings. So if I can find efficiencies within technology, it saves me personnel costs. And how do we keep the personnel the same amount and do more with what we have? And so that's always going to be our balance of using technologies, and that's where the body camera systems are.
The Zeeland City Council has a 5:45 p.m. work-study session ahead of its 7 p.m. business meeting, both in chambers at Zeeland City Hall off of Elm Street. An online link to the meeting agenda and supporting documents is in this story at WHTC.com. United Auto Workers employees at American Axle in Three Rivers have ratified a new contract after a strike which lasted a couple of weeks.
The new deal raises pay for employees who were hired before May 31st, 2012 by $8 an hour immediately. That restores a pay cut they agreed to in 2008 during the Great Recession. It also raises pay to $30 an hour by 2030 and has no health care concessions for the next 4 years. UAW also says they gain more paid days off with the new contract. I'm Michael Arning.
Wyoming police are investigating after the body of an adult man was pulled from the Grand River on Saturday night. His body was found around 7 p.m. in the 2000 block of Indian Mounds Drive. The circumstances around his death are unclear and the identity not immediately disclosed. National Weather Service has confirmed a couple of tornadoes at West Michigan on Thursday night. Both were classified EF0 and touched down in northern Barry County and southeast Kent County. Now, the Kent County twister damaged trees at the Saskatoon Golf Club and had maximum winds of 85 miles an hour. The NWS says the tornado in Barry County also damaged trees before it dissipated. No one was injured by either twister. The Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy will be holding a virtual public hearing this Thursday on the Enbridge Energy Line 5 tunnel project. The hearing will focus on their discharge elimination system permit, which would authorize Enbridge to discharge treated wastewater associated with the tunnel construction under the Straits of Mackinac. Public comments and questions will be recorded for a formal hearing. Enbridge is fighting to be able to build the tunnel to bury its twin natural gas and oil pipelines, currently located on the lake bed in the Straits of Mackinac, which were approved by former Governor Rick Snyder, but opposed by current Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Results of a third-party environmental testing company on the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Ypsilanti have found there is no toxic mold in the prison, despite inmates testing positive for mold cultures. MoldQuest did the testing in 2022, and from February through May of this year, after Attorney General Dana Nessel's office had requested it. 8 of the 105 samples from this year contained some fungal buildup exhibiting possible or probable mold growth indicators. And samples taken after cleaning was done in April and May confirmed those efforts were successful, as all 8 vents showed no fungal growth. The testing was done after 3 inmates died at the prison in a month span earlier this year. Due to inclement weather, the Tigers' scheduled game yesterday in Cleveland against the Guardians was postponed. It will be made up as the afternoon part of a day-night doubleheader at Progressive Field on September 4th. Detroit now takes on the Astros in Houston this evening, with coverage from Dan Dickerson at 7:45 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Matt Chapman's 2-run homer capped a 3-run San Francisco fifth inning that broke a scoreless tie, as the Giants defeated Alex Bregman and the visiting Cubs yesterday 5-1.
We didn't really drive anything today, but overall it was a good series. I thought we took 2 out of 3, won a series for the first time in a while. Hopefully go home and build off that.
Chicago's home to the Colorado Rockies at Wrigley Field this evening. Colson Montgomery and Chase Maderoff each cracked a 2-run homer in a 6-run sixth inning, powering Will Venable's White Sox past the visiting Los Angeles Dodgers at Wright Field yesterday 6-4.
Every series win, these guys continue to gain confidence, certainly against a good team. It's important and matters to be able to secure that one today. But it's a series win. These guys, I don't think, need necessarily that type of opponent to get confidence. It's a series win, and that's the most important thing.
Chicago faces the New York Yankees in the Bronx tomorrow evening. That weather system in northeast Ohio, which compelled the Cleveland Guardians to postpone their scheduled game with the visiting Detroit Tigers yesterday, also led to the outright cancellation of the High A Midwest League contest in nearby East Lake between the two teams' minor league clubs, the Lake County Captains and the visiting Whitecaps, respectively. West Michigan entertains the Lansing Lugnuts at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park tomorrow evening. At the LPGA Dow Championship in Midland yesterday, the team of Yana Wilson and Gina Kim fired an 8-under par 62 to win the tournament with a score of 17-under 263 for the 4 rounds, which was 2 strokes better than the team of Hai-Jin Choi and Hai-Ju Kim.
It feels awesome. And just to do it alongside Gina, someone who I really trust and someone whose game is freaking awesome. And it's just awesome. I really have no words.
The touring pros now head to Blythefield Country Club in Belmont for the Meyer Classic, slated to begin on Thursday. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.